Do you have or need some tiny tools? I'm talking really tiny. We're going to talk about it coming up. Hi, I'm Roger. Welcome to the shop. And what I have sitting in front of me here is an assortment of what I like to call tiny tools. If you've watched any of my previous videos, you know I tinker quite a bit with lasers and 3D printers and that type of thing. And they do come with some tools with them. Usually they are very inexpensive. And with the hex wrenches, Allen wrenches, I like to call them alien wrenches, you get the little right angle ones, and sometimes you'll get a ball end on one end and sometimes you won't. And sometimes they're okay and sometimes they're not so good. I prefer to use something with a handle like this instead of the regular Allen key, and you've probably seen in my videos where I do that. So what I'm going to do here is go into detail a little bit on some of these tools, and I am not endorsed by anybody here. I have bought all these, and some of these I've had a really long time. I'm a retired electrician and I use these in the trade way back. So some of them are pretty old, they're still highly functional. Some are okay quality, some of them are high end. And I'm going to explain the difference and kind of go through some of these, and you can decide if you need something like that for yourself. Okay, so as you can see here, I've got quite an assortment of things. I'm going to start with the largest one on the table here, which is this Milwaukee. It's a multiple size Torx screwdriver, and I've got a small one in there right now. And they store in the handle, so if you want to swap this out, you can just take another one and push it up through. Actually, you should put it in the right direction. Just push it up through there, pull the other one out, stick it in, away you go. It's handy, it's good to have, but it doesn't go real tiny. But for some of the bigger things, it's a nice handy little all-in-one tool. Next is something that you may not know that you need, but every once in a while you need a pick. This is a higher end one. This is made by Matco, and I have a whole set of these. You can also buy an inexpensive set of these from Harbor Freight, and Northern Tool and places like that. I use these because if I break one, Matco replaces it. Okay, next up is a little set that's handy. This is still some of the larger sizes. This is metric, 5.5 to 13 millimeter. You have sockets. You have a little ratchet here that stores right in the top, and it locks in place. You have a driver if you want to put it into your cordless drill. And by popping this open, you have access to all of these bits right here. And some of them are security type, the security Torx, the hole in the center. Then you also have the little driver here you can put on your ratchet to use your sockets. And there is a little handheld screwdriver type thing over here for a screwdriver handle. This is made by Wera. This is not cheap. This is a high-end tool, but it's very high quality. It's got a belt clip on it if you want to carry it around. And when I was working in the field, I carried this quite a bit. That's why there's a little bit of rust on it, because it has gotten wet in the past. Next up are in the category of Hex Keys. This is a Sae Set here. This one's made by Eklund, and it's 0.050 through 5/30 seconds. These are nice little handy things to have. Just got to watch that you don't over torque something, because when you have this in your hand like this, you can really crank something down. You could actually strip it or break it. So this is a Sae Set. This set here is metric. It's 1.5 through 6 millimeter. It's made by Klein. No, this one's made by Eklund. I also have one of these made by Klein Tools. Klein Tools is caters to electricians, so I have quite a few different types of Klein tools. There's another something you can think about, and there are lower quality ones like at Harbor Freight. You can get these, and there's some other made in China brands. These are made in USA. Okay, next we have, it's kind of a 4-in-1, and this is Torx, and each one of these ends flips around, and as you can see here, you can get pretty tiny with it. This is made by Klein. It's an electrician's tool, but and each one of these has 2 ends, so there's a lot of possibilities of things you can do with it. It's kind of a 4-in-1 thing you can kind of carry around. And in the same line of the 4-in-1 style from Klein, here is one with straight blades and Phillips blades. I should say tips. And this flips too from end to end. And it goes down to a 00 Phillips. So that'll get you pretty small. But sometimes you need to go even smaller. So this is a Craftsman set. And this was made, I bought this when Craftsman was still part of Sears, so it was back in the day. And these have been used. I do take good care of it. And I have always kept it in the case, everything in the case here. I don't know where these went though. These are end nippers. There's some small needle nose here, and needle nose and cutters, little bent nose cutters. Maybe these were diagonal cutters that are missing, but I don't really know where they went. This has, these are SAE Hex, and then you have your straight blade and your Phillips down to about a 000. So this is a nice little set, and it comes in a little case you can zip up, except the zipper's broke on this. Like I say, I've had this for a long time. Next in the loose ones here, for my Allen drivers I use on assembling lasers, 3D printers and such. I have 2 different ones I like to use. These here are made by Eklund. It's a set. This is metric. This is not a ball end. This is a straight end. And perhaps you work on radio-controlled planes, trains, and automobiles. Hey, that could be a movie title. Anyway, these are made by Eklund. Craftsman also has a set of the Hex head and Torx, Phillips. These are singles you can buy. And like I said, this is back in the day when Craftsman was still made all in USA. Next I have, this is a ball end driver. I have a whole set of these. These are the brand name. This is Master Force. These are okay. I did round off the smallest one, but these are available at Menards. This one here happens to be a 2mm, and you can also get these in SAE. You don't have to just settle for metric. When you get into some of the other screwdrivers here, I like the brand called Weha. They're made in Germany. And this is a whole set right here of ball end drivers. And it goes down pretty tiny here. We go all the way down to a 1.3mm, 0.05mm. It's pretty small. This is one of the larger drivers. I have a whole set of these. I've had this for a long time, hence the discoloration on it. It's had a lot of use. And they also have these. I don't really know what brand this was. This came with something, but I was surprised at how well they hold up. And the ergonomics on it, because you can grab it, it's got a little indentation with your fingers right there, so you can spin it with your fingers, but yet the end of it moves easy. I don't know what brand this was, but I always kind of like that one. Down at the bottom end of the list is, these are made by like General Tool, and a little small set of precision screwdrivers. These are good for working on your glasses if a screw comes out of the hinge. My problem is if a screw comes out of the hinge, I have to have the glasses off to work on them, and unless I have another pair of glasses to put on, I can't see where the damn screw is. But if you wear glasses, you'll know what I'm talking about. Also in the electrical end of it, precision screwdrivers. This is made by Weha, and this is a 1000-volt insulated screwdriver. I have an entire set of these, both straight blade, Phillips, and Hex. And I carried these when I was working in the trade. They are good to 1000 volts, although you still shouldn't work on things hot, but pretty small tip. Works well. Have lasted well. I've never had a problem with them. Like I said, these are those Wehas, and here is a set of Wehas. I just got this set so I can have another set in another part of the up in the loft. These are not the ball end; they're just the straight ones. And for the couple things here that I've gotten recently. I will put links in the description where you can get them. Some of the other stuff I've had so long, I have no idea where I got it. All right, moving along to the all-purpose sets. This little set here is kind of neat if you're going to work on cell phones or do screen replacements or work on Game Boys, Nintendos, that type of thing. As you can see, there's a lot of different bits here. They go very small. So you have Torx, Star, Phillips, Straight, Hex, some metric nut drivers, and the Delta and the Y, and then the regular Torx. It's made by Scanditech. Nice little handle here. This swivels right here. This swivels right here. It's got good ergonomics to it. Plus the tips are magnetic, which is handy. And it comes with a little teeny magnifying glass, which I have never used, but I have used this. The suction cup when you're replacing a screen on a cell phone, or you need to pull the back off to change a battery. And this is very handy for taking it apart. So it's got some handy little things in it, and this was not expensive. There's also a pair of very small tweezers there and a little probe. That's a nice little set there. It's obviously made in China, but it does what it needs to do. And then it's got a nice little zipper case here. You can keep everything together. And lastly, and this one's kind of spiffy here, this is called the 128-in-1 screwdriver. So you have your screwdriver handle here, you have a flexible extension set, you got a little spatula there, you got some picks for working on cell phones and screens and such, you got some tiny tweezers there, then you have all these different bits. So they will, if you're working on cell phones or small electronics, maybe handheld game things, this set is ideal. And what's really neat about this is the way it folds up. There it is. It's made by HTM. This wasn't very expensive, and I just got this, and there will be a link for this in the description, because I think this is really handy. So there was just a little quick rundown on what, like I said, I like to call tiny tools. When you need them, you need them. You can spend a lot of money, or you can stay on the budget side, but some of these sets are kind of nice to have, and they may sit in the toolbox for a long time and you never need them, but when you need them, you need them, especially when it gets to be something special like this. So if you got anything out of this, appreciate getting a thumbs up, always helps the channel. Otherwise, I'm Roger in the shop, Tiny Tools. Thanks for watching. We'll see you on the next one.